Hey, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Spencer Van, and today's video is going to be something a little bit different. So, I've never done this before, but I actually wanted to kind of throw out this video and see if you guys like this. I don't know what I'm going to call entrepreneur story time, tales of an entrepreneur, but I basically just wanted to create a video, or videos, if you guys like this, sharing some of my past experiences in entrepreneurship, in surplus funds, outside of surplus funds, and some of the major lessons I've learned along the way, some of the bruises and beatings I've taken along the way, and hopefully share those lessons with you so you don't have to learn the hard way like I did. And I also love talking about this stuff. It's just really fun for me. So if you guys do like this video format, like the video and comment down below if you want to hear more of these entrepreneur stories. And I will of course do some more. And if you don't like it, that's totally fine too. This will be a one-time thing, and that's okay. So with that being said, today's story, I wanted to talk to you about one of my early business successes, and I say successes with parentheses because, and I guess you'll see why. But it was actually not real estate or surplus fund related. It was actually an online business. So this was kind of in my transition period. Early in my career, when I first got into business, it was all real estate, and I was like the real estate guy. And then I'll never forget this. I went to these real estate events, and I would help out behind the desk, and I would actually, it's funny, this is at David Church's, my business partner. Shout out to David Church. This is at his real estate club. I would work behind the front desk and, basically collect people's money to let them into the club. And it was like 20 bucks. And I'll never forget, around the same time that this story happened, this guy came in and, he's like this big shot real estate guy, and his card's not going through. It's card decline, card decline, card decline. And I remember he just had such an ego. He looks at me, he's like, I have 80K in that account. I know this card should work. What the heck is this? He starts getting mad at me. I'm like, dude, I can't control it. This works for everyone else, man. I don't know, And around that same time, keep in mind, this guy's, middle-aged, older guy, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But around the same time, I met this guy named Tanner Fox. Now, not the scooter Tanner Fox, but the Amazon Tanner J. Fox. And it's kind of a long story how I met him, but we'll just leave that be. Let's just put it this way. I have a mutual friend that introduced us. Tanner at that time, he had just started his YouTube channel, had a couple thousand subs, and he was making like $300,000 a month, and he was like 21, 22, right? And I was just like mind blown. Like I remember, we ended up meeting up with him for lunch, and this guy shows up in like a Lamborghini, and I'm like, what is going on? Like I've never seen this before. I'm like, these real estate guys are bragging about having 80K in their bank account, and they're like 55, 60, and this guy's making $300,000 a month. And he didn't say anything. He just rolled up in a Lambo, right? Nicest guy in the world, helped us out. And I was just so inspired by him. I said, look, man, what are you doing to do this? And he's like, I'm doing Amazon. I'm like, whatever you're doing, I'm doing, right? Like, whatever it is. I didn't know any better. I was like, whatever you're doing, I need to do that, right? So, long story short, he gave us discounted access to his Amazon course. And one thing about me is when I, go through an Amazon course, or when I go through any course that I buy, I'm going all in. Like, I'm going through it 100%, and I am, going to soak up every piece of information I can and then execute on that as soon as possible. So I literally spent like the first 2 days I had it, just busted through that thing as quickly as possible, and then literally immediately started taking action on it right afterwards. And one of the first parts of Amazon, doing Amazon successfully, at least back then, was product research. I haven't done Amazon in a year, so I don't know what it is now. But back then it was product research. So finding the right product that's going to fit what the market needs. And so that's what I did for like 3 weeks. I went through products, and after about 3 weeks of research, I found what I felt was like the perfect product. And that product was solar eclipse glasses, because this was taking place in March, April of that year. Well, later in the year, early September, late August, there was going to be a solar eclipse. So it's like perfect, like if I can get these solar eclipse produced and, manufactured and distributed by that time, then I'm going to be good. Like we're going to make a ton of money, right? So I partnered with my friend Clayton because it cost $2,000-$3,000 to start a product. And not that I didn't have that money at the time, but, paying all that up front at the time was a kind of a lot. So I was like, okay, let me partner with someone 50-50. So a good friend of mine, we put in 50% of the money each. We got the manufacturing going. And, a couple things that were important to me, number one, were the quality of the product and the speed at which it can be produced. Because obviously, we have a hard deadline of when the solar eclipse is. So when I was talking to different manufacturers, I said, hey, listen, can you send me over the certifications you have for the glasses? And can you give me a timeline on this order size? I forget how many we ordered, but a couple thousand pairs on when, these should be completed by. Yeah, sure. They sent me over all the certifications. I'm matching it up online. Everything looks great. And they said, we'll have this shipped to you by June 1st, right? So perfect. It's April 15th or, roughly April, whatever. I'm like, cool, 6 weeks. This is perfect. And it gives us plenty of time to sell it. Well, wouldn't you believe April 1st comes and goes and no solar eclipse glasses anywhere to be seen, right? And, you know, okay, listen, it takes a little extra time. That's fine. I'm communicating with them. They're telling me, oh, it's about to leave. We're about to ship it. It's on the way, da-da-da. June 15th comes and goes. Still nothing. Right? July 1st, still nothing. Well, all the way basically until July 20th, they didn't even ship it until then, right? And it takes a few weeks to get here. So we didn't even have it stateside until, you know, really early August. And the solar eclipse is at the end of August, right? But you know what? We've still felt, listen, these things, the demand for solar eclipse glasses was like this, right? It was going straight up because obviously the solar eclipse is coming around. It's this huge thing in you know, North America. And so we're excited. We still think we're going to do very well. And, you know, we go in. I remember we got the glasses. They shipped to Amazon. We're doing fulfillment by Amazon. So Amazon was going to ship it for us and all that. We get our listing up there. And I remember this was like the coolest thing in the world. I'll never forget this. It's the first time I truly felt successful in business ever, was when this happened. So we turned on our, you know, basically our advertising on Amazon to sell these glasses. And we're at like a coffee shop or something. And then we're like, hey, you know, we turned them on. We're like, cool, we did our work. My friend Clayton and I, we did our work. And then we're like, we're going to go lift. So we were lifting. And as we were lifting, I mean, it was like every 30 seconds we'd make $20. Like it was the coolest thing ever. And I think in our hour and a half that we were there, we probably made like $600, $700 in sales. Which was like amazing. I was like, dude, this is like absurd how powerful this is, right? And so I was like, dude, this is it. Like we figured it out. Like we are finally going to make it. Like we are going to make it. We're good. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it stopped. All of the sales stopped. We're making, you know, $700, $600 an hour, $700 an hour, and then gone, just zero, right? And I'm like, we didn't run out of inventory. Like we have a lot of inventory, right? So I'm checking. It's like, yeah, we still have, you know, I don't know, a couple hundred packs, right? I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, why did it stop? Well, then I go and check my email. And Amazon's like, hey, you know, we just need to double check the specifications of your glasses and make sure that they're up to the code. And I said, oh yeah, not a problem at all. I had the certificates, I sent them in. And Amazon went through, they said, oh, this looks great. And they turned us back on. So now we're back on again. We do another $500, $700 in sales in like an hour or two. And then we get shut off again, right? And they're like, hey, you know, we're actually not really sure about this. Can you send them, you know, do you have any other certifications? I emailed them. Now it takes a couple days. I'm going back and forth. Again, we're approaching this deadline, right? It comes to find out that those certificates are not up to Amazon's standard. Now, I didn't really know what that means at the time. I'm frustrated. You know, at this point, I'm still negative, right? I put $2,500, you know, combined, we put $2,500 in there. Probably did about $1,500 in sales. And they're saying, hey, we can't sell these. We're going to ship all these glasses to you, right? In the next couple of days, you're going to get all these glasses. And so at my doorstep, I just started getting these huge boxes, you know, thousands of solar eclipse glasses. And I got 2 weeks to sell them before this solar eclipse. Probably less than, probably, you know, 10 days before the solar eclipse happens, right? And Amazon's saying, oh, you know, they're not good. I'm like, dude, I have the certifications right here. They're clearly good. Like, what are you guys talking about, right? Well, come to find out, as we're getting all these glasses shipped in, I'm talking to Clayton, my business partner. I said, dude, we got to unload this merchandise. Like, we can't just sit on this merchandise because in 2 weeks, it's going to be, you know, worth nothing. So we need to sell it now, right? And I came up with the idea. We had a mutual friend of ours that was a little younger. He was still in high school. He was a hooper, a basketball player. And I said, you know, why don't we go, his name was Jake. I was like, why don't we go talk to Jake? And Jake said he was looking to make extra money. Why don't we just say, hey man, listen, why don't you just walk around the neighborhood and knock on some doors and sell each pack for $20 and we'll give you, you know, a couple dollar commission for each one. And of course he was ecstatic to do this. He's like, this is the greatest thing ever. And Clayton was not so sure. He was like, I don't know if it's gonna work, So I said, look, let's just give Jake 10 packs. We had, you know, hundreds. And we'll go to a Starbucks and we'll figure out what we're gonna do. So we do that, we give him the 10 packs. We go to Starbucks. We're there for 30 minutes trying to come up with other ideas. We're filming some Facebook ads. We're doing this, we're doing that. Well, in the 30 minutes that we're there, we get a phone call 30 minutes later from Jake. And he's like, hey man, I already sold out. Can I get more? And we're like, oh crap, like we're onto something now, right? So we go and we're bringing hundreds of packs. We're like, hey, sell them. Well, comes to find out, he ends up on a Facebook community post. He's got hundreds of people hitting him up. I mean, we're selling things like clockwork, and it was hilarious because, you know, Jake didn't have a driver's license. So we spent literally all day, a couple days. I would be driving, Jake would be in the passenger seat, we'd have all the glasses in the back seats, and we would just go up, pull up to a door, Jake would run out with a pack or 2 packs, boom, exchange them, grab some money back, run back in, boom, drive to the next door, and so we would just have all this cash. It was hilarious. And it was really exciting. It was like, wow, okay, you know, even though we hit all these hiccups, we're still gonna end up being successful. And then the ultimate roadblock, the ultimate twist to the story happened, where Amazon sent out an email basically saying that a bunch of these Chinese certifications are fake. And so if you have had any of these, you don't really want to use them unless you're 100% sure that they're real. And this is like 2 days before the solar eclipse, right? So, listen, I'm panicking. I'm like, I don't want to sell a bunch of stuff that's going to hurt people. I don't want to be involved with that. That's not what I want to do at all. So, but I wasn't sure if these were real or not. I have no idea, and I don't have a real pair of solar eclipse glasses to compare them to. All I have is this. And, the solar eclipse glasses on Amazon had ascended in price to like $400 a pair, which was ridiculous, and they weren't even going to get to me in time. So that was not an option. So I just looked up online, and I was like, okay, where could I get some solar eclipse glasses? Where I could get like a real pair? And they were sold out everywhere. But there was this one library, like an hour and 15 minutes away, that they had a pair that you could try on. So I woke up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday and drove an hour and 15 minutes to get to like this library. And I went in there and I had my pair and I had the real pair. And I tried on the real pair and there was like a light to look at. I was like, okay, if you don't see the light, then it's real. I'm like, okay, perfect. I don't see the light. Tried on my pair. And guess what? I saw the light. And I was like, oh no, this is not good. I was like, now I've sold hundreds of packs of these solar eclipse glasses in cash to a bunch of people I don't know. I have to give them their money back. Like I have no other option. I just have to take the loss because I'm not gonna give people stuff that's not good, right? So of course, this is like worst turn of events possible. And Jake and we end up going to my little office at the time. And I just said, listen, record me. I made a little video and I said, listen guys, we apologize. This was not our intention at all. And I just want to say, we're not 100% sure these are safe. I've tested them out. I honestly don't know, but according to the certifications they were, I guess they were not real certifications. I kind of went through the whole story that I just told with you guys and posted that out. And, and said, listen, if you guys want a full refund for this, I'll absolutely give you a full refund, no questions asked. Let's just meet up and we'll exchange the bag for the money and all that, right? Well, wouldn't you believe it? You know what? I will say I was a little lucky because a lot of people were understanding and I said, you know what? We appreciate it. We get it. You're a younger guy. You're just trying to make some money. And so I only really got a few refunds, but everybody knew, okay, be careful with these and all that. So at the end of the day, it was a success, but I learned so much. And one of the main things I learned from that, the biggest takeaway that hopefully you guys will have too, is have a really good product. Don't have a product that you think is good. Don't have a product that other people may think is good. Don't have a product that you can justify in your head might be good. Have a product that truly is good, that truly provides the customer value, and truly works. Don't be the guy like I was, where I had a product that I think was good, that I think was safe, that I think was going to provide people value, and in reality, did or did not do that, right? And so it was one of the probably hardest lessons I've learned in my entrepreneur career was going through that. And just the ups and downs. Literally it was like, right? And so I learned a lot, not only just from the product standpoint, but from really, understanding that, business plans don't always go according to plan, especially when you're dealing with foreign companies, when you're dealing with shipping and you're dealing with physical products that take manufacturing, when you're dealing with all these different elements. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. And so you need to plan accordingly for those. And then the other lesson I learned too was, don't doubt people. Don't judge a book by its cover. I mentioned earlier my business partner Clayton, when I brought up Jake and I said, let's have Jake go door to door. He was like, oh, it's never going to work. And then literally 30 minutes later, he sold out, right? Don't judge a book by its cover and trust in your product, trust in your marketing and sales if you've done the research into those things. For me, I thought I had done the research, but I didn't do enough research, right? And so I take ownership of that. But for you guys, it's like, hey, do I believe in my product 100%? If that's a yes, then perfect, then go all in. But if not, then yeah, do more research. Like figure out what pieces you're missing. So hopefully that makes sense. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like it down below, comment your thoughts down below. Of course, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because as you guys know, once per month we do a free mini course giveaway live stream, and I want you to be notified when that goes live. And with that being said, again, if you enjoyed it, you want a part 2 with our next story, comment down below. And if so, I'll see you on the next one.